The curse of the number one spot in the Sharp Football Analysis Power Ranking continued on strong in Week 8 as the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Denver Broncos in what was really a sloppy game and a bad loss. The Chiefs, when they were elevated to that number one spot, I mentioned that their offense had not been as good as we've come to expect from that team. They had a big quarter against the Chargers, and that propelled them to that really big divisional win. But other than that quarter, it hasn't been great for the last month, and we saw that kind of come to a head against the Broncos. Now the Chiefs have to travel to Germany to play the Dolphins. The Dolphins are in desperate need of a big win. The two times they faced what we would consider elite teams this season, they got thumped. So they need a big win. They need a resume win. And the Chiefs obviously need a bounce back win here as well. That said, the Chiefs are cruising to their division. We know what this team is. We know what the infrastructure of this team is and this offense with Patrick Mahomes. And the defense has been really good. So I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I think they're going to be just fine. But it is yet another loss, yet another surprising loss for a team that we think is one of the best in the NFL. Replacing the Chiefs at number one is the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that also, like every other team in the NFL this year, has concerns. They just held on to beat the Washington Commanders, a Commanders team they will be happy to see the back of, a Commanders team that has now played them tough twice, took them to overtime earlier in the season. And this week they get to go face the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are obviously the biggest competition in the division. And with how the 49ers are playing, they might be the biggest competition in the NFC. That said, the Cowboys lost handily to the 49ers. And as such, that is 2023. That is the way this whole season has gone. If we look a little bit lower, though, there are some interesting teams there. The Seahawks, the division rivals of those 49ers, are now in first place with the 49ers losing 3 in a row. They made a big trade at the deadline to bolster their defense, a defense that has already been playing better over the last month with Reek Woolen healthy and their excellent rookie corner, Devin Witherspoon. The offense still hasn't really got on track. Geno Smith is not playing quite to the level we saw last year, but this is still a good team and a dangerous team. A very dangerous team is the Cincinnati Bengals, who were able to beat those 49ers coming out of their bye week. Joe Burrow looks healthy. Joe Burrow looks back to being Joe Burrow. And that is a bad sign and a bad thing for the rest of the AFC, especially if teams like Kansas City and Buffalo and Miami continue to stumble, even not even at difficult roadblocks, but just any roadblock that shows up. Those Bengals are good. We know that they can compete with the very best teams in the league. They do have a rough schedule down the stretch, but it will be interesting to see just how high they can climb in the AFC rankings and how dangerous they can be in the playoffs. For more of my thoughts on all 32 teams, check out the power rankings over at sharpfootballanalysis.com.